Oh my god. Woo! 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 Oh. Yes! Oh yeah, boys! Woo! Woo! No! What do you think of when you think of Tricky Child? Say that 3 times fast. For me, it's my math skills, but in reality, we should have known that it was actually an amazing title for an update for a video game about blocks. It all makes sense now. Tricky Child's update just got released, and I am not late to this party whatsoever anyway. And my judgment of whether this update is good or not is now labeled as... I don't know what you were expecting from me. Okay, look, it's still a good update, alright? But there's definitely a lot of work to be doing. That's why you're gonna be listening to me, some random guy on the internet complaining about why he didn't get the stuff he wanted to get in his update. Now please, sub and like the bell. Alright, next to the video. Why didn't they add bosses to this? This should have been the perfect update to add more bosses to this. We only have 2 bosses in the game. We don't count the Warden. We only have 2 bosses in this game. The Wither and the Ender Dragon. And like, let's be real, they already set it up with the Ominous Keys. Like why? That's like a perfect opportunity to put bosses. Like, what am I supposed to do with the mace after I get it? Waste like an hour of my life to try and kill the Ender Dragon with a broken hitbox? Well, I did it anyway. A good solid boss is what this update is probably lacking the most. We don't count the Febreze mob in this house, not in the slightest. That thing is another mob where you don't count. It's more like a mini boss, to be honest. It's actually not that bad of a mob. It's actually pretty neat. The only thing is the concept of wind making redstone turn on is quite fascinating to me, how they reached that conclusion. But still, he's not a bad mob either way. It works! All in all, I mean, if you guys just added like a mob boss that would like fit with like the aesthetic of like the Copper Dungeon, like for say a certain mob that was cast aside in a certain vote. Hey, I'm not pointing any fingers here, but surely they could have thought of something, right? I mean, even one of the music discs sounds just like a boss theme. Come on, listen to this. I mean, it is still nice fighting all these mobs at once. I think the best part of this update is the fact that you're able to use Bad Omen to upgrade all the spawners to make them a lot more harder than they are, which is probably the peak moments in my opinion, as long as you have like netherite armor and such. As soon as you beat the spawners, you're able to get a random chance of either getting a key or a middle finger right to your face. And the loot you get from the vaults...
Let's go gambling! Aw, dang it! Aw, dang it! Aw, dang it! Aw, dang it! Aw, dang it!
Yeah, this is where the update starts to go downhill. If you're out of vaults in the labyrinth you're in, you literally cannot reopen them. These things don't get refilled, which means you have to crawl over to a new cave and find a new copper labyrinth, which could take 5 to 10 plus years of my lifespan. Would you look at that? I start a family this time. Why can't you just make the labyrinths bigger? Oh my god, foreign concept, I know! From what I've seen in Spectator mode, these things spawn pretty commonly. So why not just make them bigger and decrease the spawn rate on them? It's almost like another structure has been like this. I don't know, a woodland mansion? But really, though, these labyrinths are not that bad to go through. These are actually pretty fun. But the one biggest strike I think has to come is probably the fact that they don't have a use for this stupid ingot! Welcome to How It's Made, with yours truly, Jagmaster, and here we're going to be talking about how copper's made, since it is one of the greatest conductors in the world, and we'll be talking 98%. As we know, copper is made from the famous copper ore. We use it in this here treadmill-looking thing to condense it and turn it into the copper sheets we know today. 99.99%. As we all know, copper is made from the famous copper ore. That's where it gets its name. They move it into these stacks and then flip them over like dominoes later on. And then they use the sheets from the stack to make sure that it goes into this machine and then it drops down into this machine. This guy looks at it really intensively to make sure the copper doesn't fly away. And then after that, the guy goes down, and then he starts walking a lot, and then it becomes daytime. Odds are this is what Mojang tells their devs every time they want to do something with copper. It's a real-life ore that could be used for anything redstone, but they decide, you know what? We should add a function where the copper block oxidizes after a period of time, and it becomes green, just like real life! Yeah. Just like real life. Shut shut up and take my money! Last thing I want from this update is just more. Duh. Like, honestly, this is not a bad update. It's literally just fine. They could have added bosses, they could have added use for copper. There's no limited number of ideas here. They just felt like playing it safe. Now, I'm going to bed. Goodbye. Hope you like the video or whatever. See you. Bye. Also, thanks to this guy, he's pretty cool, giving me motivation. Thanks a lot. Bye.